Gentlemen, the trade deadline is over. 33 trades, 54 players. Our coverage here on the fourth period alongside Dennis Bernstein, David Pagnotta. I'm Irfaan Gaffar, brought to you by Betway. Gentlemen, let's jump right into it. Dennis, what do you think was the best deal of the day?
Well, I really like what the Rangers did. Now, remember, way back in the day, they traded Buchnevich for Sammy Blais. Sammy tore his ACL. To go get Andrew Cap and Mott, to me, that solidifies their bottom six. So if they have any designs on going deep here, they needed that depth on the bottom six. They got it with Kopp and Mott. Love that deal. Really smart move there. So I think they're better today than they were yesterday. Dave?
Yeah, well, you took my answer, so I'm going to look elsewhere and see what else happened across the board. But look, I like St. Louis. I like the addition of Nick Leddy. It's a subtle type of move. They wanted somebody mobile on that back end. They didn't want to give up too much out there based on some of the prices that were being paid. But I like the subtleties of St. Louis's dealings today, bringing in a guy that they really needed, a mobile guy on that back end to really stabilize their defensive core and allows them to be a little bit more offensive if they need to from the point. So from my perspective, outside of the Rangers, I like the addition, the subtle addition, it seemed, of Nick Leddy in St. Louis.
Yeah, guys, you mentioned those deals that happened on deadline day, but there were a flurry of deals leading up to it. Obviously, Toffoli a couple weeks back with the Calgary Flames, and the Flames also adding Yarncroke. Which team, Dennis, do you think improved the most over the last 5 days as we head into the stretch drive here?
Well, Earth, they're not a contending team, but if you want to look to the future, the Anaheim Ducks received a first-round pick, 5 seconds, and a third, and Dodonov now. So to me, look, Pat Verbeek did the job. He's talk about leaning into a rebuild. I don't know. That's not leaning in. That's going full body surfing, right? That's what he did here. So to me, I really think in the next 2 to 3 years, if things break right, they're a contending team. So to me, I think the team that improved the most from a big picture standpoint are the Anaheim Ducks.
You know what? By the way, I also like the Raquel deal in Pittsburgh. That was a nice little ad. Based on the deals that have happened, I mean, outside of Tampa really trying to recreate that third line magic, which I like, if we're talking about teams overall, and Dennis, you bringing up one of them from a futures perspective, I really like what the Montreal Canadiens did. The fact that they were able to move out Arturi Lehkonen, bring in Justin Barron, that they're really high on. A lot of people really like this defenseman. And if you look at the prospect pool in Montreal and some of the young guys they have on that back end, it's pretty stacked. They got a really good young defensive core that they're piecing together in Montreal. But also the return for Brett Kulak. They got a second-round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big return, for him from the Edmonton Oilers. And then obviously the Ben Sherratt move, getting a first-round pick in 2023. Just everything that the Canadians wanted to do, for the most part, they were able to pull it off. That and going back, like you said, Irf, to the Toffoli deal. So I think leading up to this deadline and today on deadline day, I really like what the Montreal Canadiens were able to do for their future, because that's exactly what they were telling everybody they wanted to do.
All right, DB, any moment from the trade deadline day or kind of leading up to it that made you scratch your head a little bit?
Usually they say the trade deadline is a high stakes poker game, but in the case of Lou Lamoriello, it's a high stakes blackjack game. He didn't double down by signing Clutterbuck and Parisi. He tripled down on this team that really didn't accomplish anything this season. So to me, that was like, okay, I guess you believe in what you've done here, and maybe it works next season. So to me, the one aha moment was the re-signing of Cal Clutterbuck and Zach Parisi on the island.
Yeah, you know what, DB? For me, it's Chicago. I'm surprised they weren't able to do a little bit more, because they really wanted to. They were telling everybody that they were going to be very active. They wanted to go on this rebuild. This was a perfect opportunity to do it. I guess, other than moving Calvin DeHaan, which they weren't able to do, the other guys are controllable. So I suppose when you're talking about guys like Dylan Strome or Dominic Kubalik and some of the other pieces that they have there, I guess you could save that to the offseason. But I was expecting a little bit more from Chicago side of things. That surprised me that they weren't able to pull off a few more deals here ahead of the deadline. And by the way, Calvin DeHaan, I think we're going to show it. He's still sorry that he's still in Chicago.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much for this. And as always, our trade deadline coverage on thefourthperiod.com. You can head on over there to check out all our instant analysis, our opinions, and everything else that you want to know. And it's all brought to you by Betway.